Hi, I'm Doug Dooley of Juniper Networks Security Products Group, and I'm here today to talk about the SSG versus ISR demonstration. What we're showing today with the Windows video streaming server flowing through the SSG 520, represented here on the white monitor, and then we also have an additional feed flowing through the Cisco ISR, represented here on the black monitor. We also have a load generation tool from Ixia that's going against the SSG and the ISR. The combination of both the Ixia load generation tool and the video streams flowing through both systems provides both a quantitative performance measurement and a qualitative perspective on application load. In addition to all of this performance discussion with applications and load generation, we will add incremental services to both the SSG and the ISR to have an apples-to-apples comparison. So what we're showing right now is that the live video feeds for both Juniper and Cisco are working very well. They're flowing without any load. Now we're going to add some load using the Ixia test tool to provide some gigabit worth of traffic to both systems. From that traffic, we'll be able to measure it through Ixia's interface. So as you can see here, Juniper's SSG platform is measuring well above its datasheet number, between 750 and 800 megs of throughput. Cisco's ISR platform, again, above its datasheet number, between 650 and 700 megs of throughput. Now just throwing basic load at this system, we're already beginning to notice some performance issues. Cisco's having some jerkiness, while Juniper's flowing smoothly. This is with open policies and no kinds of security services enabled. Now the first thing that we want to do is enable a stateful firewall engine on both systems. Now the beauty of the SSG, since it's Screen OS based, is that the stateful firewall is native into the system. Now what we're going to do next though is we're going to enable the stateful firewall engine for Cisco. So as you can see, as we apply the stateful firewall policy to Cisco, we will cut back and look at performance. Performance loses about 50% right off the bat. Now that's a tremendous amount of performance loss for the most basic of security services to enable. Now also, if you look at the video quality, Juniper's doing just fine, and Cisco is continuing to struggle. So we're going to go ahead and continue to add services to both platforms and look how they stack up. The next thing we're going to add is NAT. So network address translation is used heavily in a distributed enterprise where branch and regional offices are deployed. By having NAT installed, we're going to go from route mode to NAT mode on the interfaces for the SSG, and then measure how the performance stacks up. So as we look here on the Ixia test load, there's been zero change to the SSG's overall performance with NAT enabled. Doing the same thing to Cisco, we'll apply the NAT policy, and immediately that you notice on the iOS command line is it's unable to accept an additional command through the serial console. So we're going to have to help Cisco out, completely shut off all performance load and essentially take it off the network in order for it to accept a command. So now that it's accepted the NAT command, we'll go back, look at its performance load. So as we can tell, 50% degradation once again from the previous time of just basic firewall with the addition of NAT services. And if we look at the video quality, it continues to struggle. What we're showing is both quantitatively and qualitatively a fundamental difference. As you add services to Juniper, you're basically seeing no impact. And when you do that to Cisco, you're seeing tremendous amount of impact on the network. One of the big issues for customers are facing right now is intrusion prevention. It is a core fundamental of security in distributed enterprises because you're looking at your wireless access points, your guest networks, and your employee networks, and how worms are being propagated inside your network or coming in from the outside. You'll want to have this protection. We have an incredible amount of attack prevention through our attack groups for critical, high, medium, low informational attacks across all these varying types of application protocols. We'll drop the packet and also log this information. It's an incredible amount of protection. And again, we've enabled that policy, our deep inspection policies, going from just a basic TCP, UDP, any, trust to untrust policy to a deep inspection analysis. And the video quality is doing just fine. Cisco continues to struggle. And we're doing a deeper level of inspection to provide intrusion prevention on the system. Now let's do the same thing for Cisco. And the thing that you're going to notice immediately about Cisco's intrusion prevention engine, as soon as you attempt to apply it during load, it can't accept the command. Once again, we're going to help Cisco out, notify all the hackers to stop attacking their network, and shut down the Ixia load, allow the IPS engine command to be accepted. This will take 2 to 3 minutes, so we'll have to pause for now in order to allow the engine just to enable. So the IPS engine has now finally been accepted. We can see that the video is working just fine because we've been able to take off all the load for a couple of minutes while the Cisco IPS engine has been enabled. However, as we turn the load back on and look at the performance level, we've lost an additional half off of the overall performance from the previous time. We've used an iMix workload, which is non-scannable traffic by an IPS engine. But even if we use an application workload like HTTP, which is 100% scannable traffic, Juniper's IPS performance is still close to 10 times that of Cisco's, highlighting the performance headroom available on SSG compared to Cisco's ISR. So again, the trend that you want to notice here is every time you add an additional service on Cisco, it's losing about 50% of its overall performance, where Juniper, alternatively, every time you add a service, almost no change has happened on overall performance of the system. If we look at our ScreenOS, the interface for the dashboard, the CPU and the memory utilization, overall resources on the platform for the SSG, there's ample amount of platform for growth. Whether we're going to add additional services like antivirus, anti-spam, anti-spyware, web filtering, or use it as an enforcement point for your access control solution on your network. This is an incredible amount of value. You know, some companies might talk about self-defending networks and future-proofing their networks, but we're really delivering those kinds of solutions.